Hey there, entrepreneurs. My name is Sushant, and welcome to Trip Talks. This is the show where I interview successful e commerce entrepreneurs, business executives, and thought leaders, and ask them questions about their business story, and also dive deep into some of the strategies and tactics that they have used to start and grow their businesses. And today I'm really excited to welcome Nic Lamb to the show. Nic is the founder of IceBeanie. IceBeanie is a cold pack hat that uses cold compression to reduce headaches and migraine pain. And today I am going to ask Nic a few questions about his entrepreneurial journey and some of the strategies and tactics that he has used to start and grow his business. So thank you so much for joining me today at Trip Talks, Nic. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So yeah, let's get right into it. I know you have an interesting story. You used to be, or you still are a surfer, and somehow that got you, or that motivated you to start Ice Beanie. Can you share the story? How you, um, what gave you the idea to start this business?
Sure. Well, I'm a professional athlete and big wave surfer. I was born in Santa Cruz, California, state champion, two-time Spain champion, and current defending Mavericks champion. I've always loved to learn and create. And while competing in the 2016 WSL final at Nazaré in Portugal, the biggest wave in the world, I slipped and fell on a 60-foot plus wave and sustained a pretty bad concussion. And for months after, I had pretty uncomfortable migraine headaches and, just frustrated with holding ice packs on my head. And while refusing to take pills, I wanted to find an all natural solution. So at that time, I was very intrigued by cold therapy and the health benefits it imposed on the body by stressing it to produce cold shock proteins that not only aid in recovery, but boost overall health. So I remember thinking while leaving the gym one hot day, like, why don't we ice our heads? We're told growing up, if you fall, get a scrape or bump or bruise to ice the area, right? Like, why don't we ice our heads? So I started to put pen to paper and draw what is a sketch of now Ice Beanie.
And has there been some research out there that shares that it's okay to use cold on your head?
Yeah, there has been some studies. There was a study conducted out of Hawaii where they had patients utilizing a cold cap on their heads post migraines, and the results were pretty astounding. I believe like 70% of them found relief from their migraines and their headaches. But just to jump into my product's Ice Beanie. It's a patent pending all natural solution to migraine headaches and concussions by utilizing compression cold therapy gel packs instead of plush polyester adjustable beanie. You simply place it in the freezer for 45 minutes to an hour, take out and place on your head. We've had many happy customers from TBI traumatic brain injury to chemo patients finding great relief from our all natural drug free product.
So the value that your product brings is really the design of it, that someone can wear it, because I would assume that many ice packs that are available, that people can easily find maybe in a drugstore and other stores, they can do the same job. But I'm assuming your product is it really the fact that a person can wear it like a hat that differentiates it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of funny. The first couple of version of prototypes were terrible and like didn't lay correctly on the head. And it was actually quite tricky creating the right design. Is you want something like soft enough to feel pleasant on the head, but firm enough to hold its cold and not warm too quickly. So that took a few rounds before we had our MVP. But yeah, essentially the fact that we're able to produce the designs of the gel pack, keep them soft enough so they're comfortable on the head, remain cold long enough inside a carefully crafted gel pack holding beanie that's adjustable is what really gave us the results.
And how long have you been running this business? When did you actually start this business?
We launched in Q4 2019.
2019. Okay. And is the business going great so far? Is it your like main source of income? Are you working on this full time? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The business has been doing fantastic. Like I said, we launched in Q4 2019. We had to raise the price twice before selling out. Um, and the response has just been amazing. After getting on Shark Tank, again, things exploded to a level that we couldn't imagine, and it's been a fast-paced learning curve for sure. But yeah, it's been incredible.
So before you actually created the product, like how did you know that if you create this, this is actually going to be a seller in the market? Like, did you do any research, or was it really just that let's create it, let's put it on a website and see if anyone buys?
Well, I remember initially I created it for myself. Um, I had a personal need that wasn't met. I couldn't find anything in the marketplace to meet it. And so that was kind of the genesis of IceBeanie. I wanted to create something for myself because I didn't want to keep holding ice packs on my head. And like I said, really intrigued with cold therapy and the benefits it produced with the body. So that was kind of the genesis of it.
So can you share, like, how did you, so you know, you got this idea, you did some product development, you actually created a prototype. How did you make your first sale?
Let's see. I remember we launched direct to consumer from our website, icebeanie.com, FBA and Etsy, and immediately gained traction, and things have kind of just been growing ever since. I guess apparently there was a need in the marketplace. People liked it, and it's just been growing organically.
So you basically just launched everywhere, Amazon, Etsy, created your own website, and it took off. So you know, did you have to do any marketing, or?
Not initially. I have a bit of a following, so I was able to kind of promote it through my own personal channels. But just putting it up on the channels I mentioned, it was able to gain enough traction, and we kind of just build and gain some momentum off of that.
Initially, did you have to invest some of your own money into the business? And what motivated you to go to Shark Tank to get some additional funding?
Yeah, I remember after the prototype mold creation and finalization was a few thousand because we went through a few rounds, and then requesting the MOQ for my manufacturer and thinking, okay, I'm going to commit $10,000 in total to hit the MOQ launch and website and see if we gain any traction. And if it fails, at least I'll walk away with a $10,000 lesson in business. So I kind of framed it in my mind as a win or learn, which ultimately was a win-win.
So basically, it was $10,000 of your own money that you put into the business. How did you? Can you share a little bit about, you know, how did you go about finding the manufacturer for something like this? Is this manufactured in the US or overseas?
Right now we produce offshore, and I had leveraged a previous business venture relationship I had with Rich Martin, who was the former president of Calvin Klein, to source my manufacturer. So I kind of really relied heavily on his word of mouth and expertise, and he kind of guided me to a trusted manufacturer, and I slowly started to work with them to produce a prototype.
Okay. And that relationship came out of your own, like, personal thing, or, you know, given that you were you know, you were an athlete and you came to know this person?
Yeah, it was a previous business venture him and I were a part of.
Okay. Can you share a little bit about your experience going on Shark Tank? You know, how did you come to go to Shark Tank? What kind of preparation did you do? And what was your experience like on the Shark Tank?
Yeah, the experience was incredible. We submitted the application like anyone else. And, you know, they say getting on Shark Tank is about 20 times harder than actually getting accepted into Harvard. So when I submitted it, I really kind of just threw caution to the wind. I didn't really expect to hear anything back. And, you know, especially during COVID with all the testing and protocols in place, we had to quarantine for 10 days in a hotel, couldn't leave, no sunlight, was tested before leaving the room and before the pitch. You know, if your test came back as a false positive, you were sent home. You couldn't pitch. That was it. And if you're lucky enough to pitch, it might not even air. They tell you that. And so you only get one shot to pitch. And if you mess up, that's it. Sorry, you know, on to the next. And so I just practice as many times as I could. And I was just so ready to perform. And I was the first one ever. I surfed into the tank. I had an electric skateboard strapped to my surfboard deck with the remote trigger in my hand. that I had to throttle upon action. I just right enough not to overshoot it and land on my mark. And I got one attempt, and luckily I hit my mark and landed. And after you land, there's a 30-second hold period of silence where the cameras get B-roll before you pitch them. And at the end of the 30 seconds, they yell, "Go, pitch." And then you get to do your pitch and go through your spiel, and then you do the Q&A. And if you're lucky, you get an offer. My segment was pretty crazy. There was a bit of a shark fight, and I ended up receiving 3 offers. And I ended up choosing Mark because we felt his background was the best fit for our company.
And did your appearance on Shark Tank actually help drive sales for your business also? Like when you went to Shark Tank initially, what was your goal? Like, did you actually go there for advertising? Did you go there to actually, get funding for your business? Did you go there to, get a shark who is more experienced in business and can guide you grow your business? What was your actual goal for going to Shark Tank?
Right. So the 2 main value adds are like the marketing that's free, where you're able to reach tens of millions of people, and then the value add from the investor that you had done due diligence on prior in relation to your industry, right? Because they all have expertise in different industries. And I'd advise anyone, if they were going down that route of trying to pitch an investor, make sure you do your due diligence on who you're pitching and kind of know the room. So you kind of have in mind what value they can bring specifically to your business. And I went on there for, of course, the marketing would have been amazing. That was incredible. But also I really wanted the expertise from one of the sharks, and the mentoring and the guiding that comes with that, as well as the capital. The capital injection was amazing, although we didn't need it because we were able to self-fund through our cash flows, but just it really helped us with the scale. And working with Mark has been amazing.
So obviously you went there with the goal of, if you were to get a
I
shark,
wanted a deal, yeah.
To specifically go for Mark Cuban, right? Was he your actual? Yeah. And what did you why him? What specifically were you looking from him?
Well, yeah, for one, he was the primary shark. Him or Damon were the 2 sharks that we were kind of gunning for, because of their backgrounds. And Damon owns gyms. Mark is heavily in the sports industry. He owns the Dallas Mavericks. He has kind of that athletic channel there. And then he's a billionaire, so he's got endless capital to deploy. And I just felt like it would have been a good fit. And either one of those guys would have been a great fit. But I had made the deal with Mark, and I didn't want to go back on that deal. So we chose Mark.
And what has it been like working with Mark, after making that deal? Can you share a little bit about, does he mentor you? Does he give you advice? And how has this relationship helped you and your business?
Yeah, working with Mark has been incredible. I mean, he's one of the most prolific investors of our time. He's very well accomplished, and he really knows e-commerce and direct to consumer like no other. He's advised us on a lot of different things. He's kept us laser focused on what we're trying to do. And he's deployed capital and believed in us and helped us scale. So working with him has been incredible.
Okay. I'm almost curious to ask what is the one big business piece of insight or advice you received from Mark that other people can benefit from also?
The primary piece of insight that he's given me is just stay focused on what you're doing and continue to sell the one product. Because I think what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs is once you jump into the game or the marketplace and you find some success, you immediately try to duplicate that in another area, or you see some other shiny object, and or you want to add more products to your line and expand too quickly. And you tend to see a lot of companies fail when they go that direction, as opposed to being just really laser focused in one lane and just going very deep. And so I'd say the primary advice he's given for us has been just stay laser focused right now. Continue doing what you're doing. You guys are doing a great thing. Don't be distracted. Tune out the noise and focus on the signal.
Okay. I think working with a shark and having that kind of funding backing is definitely a strength. Let's say you were doing this business on your own, because it's a one product business, and I would still consider that this is kind of a simple product that can be easily duplicated. Have you seen other products in the market that are similar kind of concept, maybe a little bit different, lookalike products or copycats? Have you seen them on Amazon or other places? And how do you compete against that?
In anything you do, you're always going to have imitators, but we remain laser focused on innovation and serving our customers with a superior product. And that's why we're the leaders in the space. So that's where our focus lies.
So how has your product evolved? Is it like, are you still doing product development? Is it improving over time, or?
Always. I feel like anytime you launch a product, it's basically you get the MVP out there, you get feedback, and you continue to make iterations based on customer feedback. And that's what we've done. We're on V3 of IB. The next version that's coming out, I'm super excited about. That'll be released by Q3 of this year, IB Plus, which will provide more surface area, more coverage, softer, and stays colder for longer. So we're excited about that one.
What kind of material goes inside these IceBeanie that that stays cold for a certain period of time? Like what exactly is that material?
That's a proprietary chemical compound that we use that keeps it cool for long enough, but soft to wrap around your head.
Okay, so it's proprietary. So okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. Like, did you? I'm assuming you didn't come up with that. Did you? Like, are you working with some sort of chemistry
Yep.
lab?
We're working with chemists. Yep.
Okay. Marketing. So, can you share a little bit about your marketing and how you're driving demand for your product? I'm assuming are your products in retail also?
Yeah, we just launched in Urban Outfitters, which has been going great. We continue to sell out there, but our target market's about 70-30 female. As 1 in 4 households suffer from migraines and headaches, but we're learning we have a larger application and connection with kind of the medical and sporting industry. So we've been exploring some partnerships there. But as I said, we sell direct to consumer, as I mentioned, from our website, icebeanie.com, Amazon, and we really use a combination approach to Google AdWords, Facebook, IG, TikTok placements that seem to be very effective, as well as influencer marketing and placement, stuff like that. So it's been going great. Those channels and those strategies have been working pretty well for us.
What is it about Urban Outfitters? I have been speaking with different founders, and to me it seems like everyone, when I ask, are you in retail, and they say the first one I get into is Urban Outfitters. It seems like is it easier to get into Urban Outfitters, or like what is the thing with that?
They reached out to us. We didn't apply to them in any way. That's interesting that you say that. Who's been saying it's been easy to get into Urban Outfitters? I would know what to compare that to.
Well, I think the last 2 founders that I spoke with, they told me they're both in Urban Outfitters. The one that I did recently is kind of like this. I'm forgetting the name. Let me see if I can find it. It's called a product called Scruffy, and basically he created this shaving kind of a thing that you can use to. It has multiple blades, and it's like a kind of a round thing, and you can use this to shave your leg. And I asked him, and it's still a pretty early stage of the business, and he said, I'm in Urban Outfitters. That's the first place.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, they've reached out to us. They've been a great partner. I mean, we keep selling out with them, so we're more than happy.
Okay. Um, can you share a little bit about your, Amazon is usually kind of a love-hate relationship for online retailers. Are you still selling on Amazon? Is it working well for you? And what has been your relationship like with Amazon?
Yeah, I can definitely understand that feedback. Amazon can be definitely a love-hate relationship, especially in the beginning, because it's a pretty steep learning curve. But the amount of customer that they have in one space is unparalleled to anything else in the world. So we do about, you know, 50% of our sales off of Amazon. So yeah, we're still selling on Amazon. Amazon's been fantastic for us. The other portion going to in between our retail channels and our direct to consumer of our website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In
But
terms of,
the thing with Amazon too is, if you have issues with Amazon, it's really difficult to get through to the right channel to get something fixed. And a lot of things aren't explained. So like I said, it's a pretty steep learning curve. So unless you have someone like guiding you, it can be pretty troubling if you have some sort of issue because it could just take months and months to get a response.
okay. And how did you learn? Did you just figure it out on your own, or was there someone guiding you?
I just jumped in and started to learn on my own.
I mean, e-commerce is an interesting um, thing because there's so much information available on YouTube and there are so many people trying to teach things. Did you actually watch YouTube videos to learn some of these things? Like, did you take any courses? Did you just, trial and error? How did you figure
Definitely
this out?
trial and error. And, I just jumped in. I just went all in. That's how I really learn best. If I just kind of submerge myself in whatever I'm doing, I'm able to learn pretty quickly. And, you just keep swinging the bat and you make revisions and try to slowly improve from there. But I definitely use the college of YouTube. YouTube is an amazing resource for sure. You can pretty much learn how to do anything on YouTube. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Can you share a little bit about your warehousing and fulfillment shipping strategy? If you're selling 50% from Amazon, like, are you using fulfillment by Amazon? Are you using a third-party logistics? Are you doing your own? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, we do hybrid. So we use a little bit of both. We have a great 3PL partner in Texas that handles the fulfillment aspect needs for IceBeanie and what you definitely need to scale. And we also utilize FBA. FBA is amazing.
Okay. And in terms of shipping, do you have you built your own partnerships with shipping carriers, or are you just relying on the third-party logistics to give you the shipping rates?
Yeah. Yeah, we rely heavily on our third party, our 3PL partner.
Okay. Do you sell internationally or just in US, North America?
Yeah, we do sell internationally, and we've had a lot of interest actually from distributors from Japan, Africa, Australia. But we just recently launched in the UK. We're selling in Italy, Spain, France, and Canada. So we've been growing pretty quickly.
And how do you fulfill international? Is it really just your third-party logistics that helps you ship out, or do you?
Yeah, exactly. Our 3PL in Texas handles all that. We also have some warehouses overseas as well in the UK.
Okay. And is it your own warehouse, or is it um, you know, expanding cross-border, expanding international is kind of like still challenging for a lot of e-commerce businesses. So can you share a little bit more about, how is it like, are you working with a distributor overseas? Is it your own warehouse? How are you doing it?
So right now we're utilizing FBA, but yeah, it could definitely be challenging, especially setting up like the VAT, the value add tax. I definitely would recommend speaking with your accountant and kind of going from there because it can be a little bit complex at the start.
Okay. What does your team look like right now?
Yeah, so in the beginning, it was just me for I mean, the first 2 years. And then after Shark Tank, we just absolutely hockey stick. So I really had to slowly start to build out a team, which is another thing that Mark recommended because he saw that I was getting close to burnout. I mean, we had over like 10,000 emails. I was trying to respond to them all myself, and I was just getting unbelievably exhausted. And that's not really why I created the business to work more. I created it to create some freedom for myself and to provide value to my customers and give back to the environment because I'm a member of the 1% for the planet. But right now it's myself, Rachel, head of ops, head of marketing and social, Joe, our customer support manager, Tiffany, our bookkeeper, and our accountant. So we keep it lean and mean.
So is it, are all these roles remote, or do you have an office? How do you?
No, we're direct to consumer, my man. Well, an office space would be an absolute wasteful expense. So yeah, a lot of them are remote.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't ask you, do you actually have patent for your products?
We are patent pending for design and utility right now. Yeah.
Okay. But are you trademarked?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Okay. So in every founder's story, there's always, mistakes made, failures, lessons learned. Can you share like one or two of your biggest mistakes that you made while running your business, and what can other entrepreneurs learn from that?
Oh man, I've made so many mistakes. I think in short, just don't be scared to fail, and if you have an idea or product or service, just create your prototype, get your MVP out there, get some feedback from the marketplace as quickly as possible, and continue to refine based on that feedback. There's no perfect time to launch. It'll always be rocky. You just have to take action. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people are kind of waiting for that perfect time to take action, and there never will be a perfect time. You just have to jump in and take action and kind of just build a parachute on the way out of the plane.
Okay. Was there any time during this journey where you said, this is too hard, or wow, that mistake or that failure was too big? Was there any time where you were like, it kept you awake at night or something like that?
Yeah, I can say actually, right after we had aired on Shark Tank, sales exploded. All the channels were just selling out left and right. And at that exact same time, Texas had been hit with 100-year snowstorm. Like the power grid was out. I don't know if you remember this. This was
I
last year.
remember
It's
that.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all over the news. And as I told you, our 3PLs in Texas.
Yeah.
So all of our product is there, and they were trying to ship out the product to our tens of thousands of customers. We couldn't get product out. People stopped moving. Basically, the whole economy shut down there. Our 3PL was closed for weeks. So that was really challenging because you had to deal with a lot of people that didn't understand. Most people were pretty accommodating because they knew on the news, like, oh my God, hopefully you guys are okay. But some people, it's tough dealing with difficult customers. They just want their product there and now. So that was, I can't say that was like a personal mistake, but it was definitely a very challenging time to get through. A lot of sleepless nights for those few weeks because it wasn't like a one night thing. It was like a few weeks, and then just it was really tough. That was really challenging to overcome that one. But what are you going to do? You can't control the weather.
So to manage that, like, did you just put like a notice on your website just saying, hey, our warehouses are in Texas, and
Yeah, exactly. We emailed every single one of the customers. We updated them, which is, I think, something that you want to. Anytime you have a challenge like that where you're having an issue getting the product from A to B to the customer, you just want to be in communication with them, let them know what's going on. Most people are super cool. Most people, oh, no worries. But I think if you stall and you don't execute on the education because you're scared or whatever that they might want a refund, that's when people start to get really upset. And we did our best to quickly reach out to people. But when you're dealing in the numbers that we were dealing, there's going to be some people that fall through the cracks. And so, we had some people were upset, but we issued out free products, tried to keep everyone happy, just trying to keep the customers happy. But I think communication is really, really key, especially in challenging times like that.
Definitely. So now I'm going to move on to our rapid fire round. And in this segment, I'm going to ask you a few quick questions and you can answer them in one or two words or a sentence or so. So the first question is a book recommendation that you would give to entrepreneurs or business people in 2022 and why?
I like the E-Myth. The E-Myth is a good book, and it talks about how to scale and why most businesses fail, and how to work off the franchise model. Implementing systems and SOPs and processes in place to really remove yourself from the equation, so you can work on and not in your business. Because you see a lot of people stuck working inside the business when ultimately I just want to build the systems, the processes, and get all the people and the SOPs in place so I can remove myself and kind of work on the business from the outside and kind of learn how to grow it from there, as opposed to just be stuck on the inside. So yeah, the E-Myth, I really like that book. It's a good one.
Okay. An innovative product or idea in the current e-commerce, retail, or tech landscape that you feel excited about?
IceBeanie Plus coming out later this year. It's going to be insane.
A business or productivity tool or software that you would recommend, or a productivity tip?
Let's see. I like the app Sales Pop. I think it's really cool. It shows social proof, people buying right there on your website, and it pops up. I think that's a great app. I'd recommend that one.
Okay. How many hours a day do you usually work in your business?
Right now, I'd say maybe like 2 to 3 hours in the morning. It's mainly just kind of checking on the team, handling emails and stuff like that. Yeah, kind of working on the design.
Okay, I mean, that's pretty good. That's like you have pretty much the whole day to yourself. Like, do you still surf? What do you?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, I am, like I said, I'm a professional athlete, so I spend a lot of time working on the body and then working on the business as well. But the first thing I do, I mean, I'm up at sunrise. I go through my morning routine. I do my Tibetan rites, drink water, and then I'll start to respond to basically emails. I basically, like I said, it goes back to that book, The E-Myth. Really want to understand how the franchise model works, which really puts the systems and the processes in place and builds out the SOPs. You're then able to remove yourself from the business, so you're not working in the day to day. I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking big picture. I'm thinking next products. I'm thinking design. And so what I do is I really try to preserve my bandwidth for those first few hours. And I have a really good team. Like I said, I built that team out, and they take care of a lot of the day to day, and I'm able to think on the big picture and execute on that. So it took a long time to get to this point, over 2 years of working, 25-hour days plus to get to a point to where I can really kind of focus on the 2 to 3 hours a day in the morning, and of course there's always fires that come up in the middle of the night that you have to put out. But again, it goes back to putting those systems and processes in place to be able to be in this position. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A startup or business in e-commerce, retail, or tech that you think is currently doing great things besides your own business?
Tesla.
A peer entrepreneur or business person whom you look up to, or someone who inspires you?
Say Elon Musk. Just because of his risk tolerance and how he speaks his mind.
Yeah, but do you really think it's risk tolerance, or is it? I mean, he really just thinks differently, and he can think different. He can put together different pieces in a way where, even though it is really risky to everybody else, he has actually thought through the problem. So maybe the way he looks at risk is a little bit different.
Exactly. So it goes back to his risk tolerance, right? So I think, looking back when you're cashing out of a company like PayPal, and then you deploy all your money into your next two ventures, and don't even have enough money to pay rent, and you're sleeping on your friend's couch, that's a pretty high risk tolerance. That shows me that he knows what he's doing, and it's just incomparable to other people's ability to weigh the risk benefit analysis. And so, yeah, I definitely admire his risk tolerance for sure.
And final question, best business advice you ever received or you would give to other entrepreneurs?
I'd say the quality of life depends on the quality of questions one asks oneself, and don't be scared to fail. Everything you want in this life is on the other side of fear. So give yourself permission to shine.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nick. Those were all the questions that I had. Really appreciate your time today, sharing your story, sharing your business advice, strategies, and tactics. Really appreciate it. If anyone wants to buy your product, what is the best way to get in touch?
Yeah, you can find us IceBeanie, icebeanie.com. You can find us on Amazon. We're an Urban Outfitters. And if anyone wants to reach out to me, you can just Google my name, Nic Lamb. You can find me. I'm all over social media.
Perfect. Thank you, Nick. Really appreciate your time today. And thanks again for joining me today at Trip Talks.
Thanks, Sushant. Have a good day.
Thank you.